tieri kende. Ekioge go tieria ekioge kende.
Musiano says over the Kenya Kabango Wadi and Sumro with Korea. I go but Tavantavara. You know, I'm telling them that today my podcast is not the normal one because I'm having the white.
Yeah.
Great. Now you told me something that your parents they were in church all through, or they were church addicts.
Yes.
In other words, you were brought up in church.
Yes.
How did it influence your life as a grown up?
You know, looking back, I think it instilled certain characteristics in me. What I've learned as I do this humanitarian work is that you can team up with a lot of people to do a project, to start a business, to start an initiative.
Yeah.
And what I've learned is that a lot of people are like-minded. So they always tell us to look for like-minded individuals. That's only half of the equation. What I've learned is that you have to look for people who are like-minded and like-hearted. Because we can be doing the same things, but doing it for different reasons that don't align. So church taught me to look for the underlying characteristics or qualities of the individuals that I associate with. Because you can be running a business, we can be business partners, we could be making money, and you could be stealing it. Or I could be stealing it. Because we're like-minded, we want to make money, but we're not like-hearted. We don't want to do the thing that takes integrity. So I think church instilled a lot of great principles that I look for when I'm doing business globally. But then to still say business is business. And I say that to say a lot of times people come and they start off with me telling me about their religious background. And I don't care. And I say that with all sincerity. Don't tell me, show me. Don't tell me how honest you are, and don't tell me how respectful you are. If I watch you long enough, I should be able to see that. And here's what I've learned, Erastus. People cannot consistently be who they are not. Sooner or later, the real them will show up. And so if you watch people long enough, sooner or later, you're going to get to the real version of themselves.
Great. Thank you so much. Christine.
Yes.
Before you tell me what you told me about Christine, let me just get to know, who is Christine Weldon? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm a #1 international best-selling author. I write children's books. I also publish children's books for other people, mainly for authors who are disabled. I have 2 books, 3 almost, that are out right now. One by a blind man, one by a blind young woman, and one by a deaf-blind young man. I resurrected my father's publishing company because he had 4 strokes and has Parkinson's disease. And I thought it was super important to be able to help disabled people get their stories out into the world. I do have a master's degree in fine arts and creative writing, as well as I'm studying for my PhD. But besides that, I am the founder and CEO of Hands Up Silent Theater, which is a deaf hearing children's theater in America. And I'm also a professor, and yeah, that's pretty much me.
You have so many titles.
Yeah.
So many titles. You're a professor, you're doing this and that. I'm a bit curious. Why are you focusing more on deaf children who have deaf issues? Why are you focusing on that?
I was a musician from the time I was 9 years old. It was how I felt seen in my own house. My brother was the smart one. He was the one that got college scholarships, and I just felt like I was not worthless, but I didn't matter until I put my hands on the keys of the piano. And from that point on, I'm not sure if you know who this is, but Liberace, he's a pretty famous piano player in America. His protege was my teacher, so I studied really, really hard, and I ended up opening a music school of my own. And some of my kids played at the Great Carnegie Hall in New York City, which was their prize for winning a big competition. One of my students got second place out of 2,000. So that was pretty much my claim of fame. And then I found out I was losing my hearing. I would become deaf by the time I was 50. So I lost my identity. I had no idea who I was without my ears. I didn't know how to live as a deaf person or how to work as a deaf person. How am I going to provide for my family? I ended up broke and living in a women's shelter with my children. So I went back to school and got a degree in deaf studies, and that's what sparked my passion for deaf history, deaf culture, and learning about deafness and American Sign Language.
I didn't get something there. What exactly caused that? Because you were hearing, you okay? And then what caused?
Yep.
Because I'm wondering again, you're talking about deaf and you can hear me.
I can't hear you. I can read your lips. I can hear low tones. So men are easier for me to hear than women, but it kind of sounds like, have you ever spoken too close to the microphones? So, and you can hear sound, but you can't hear it clearly. That's what I hear in my.
You're not deaf because you're listening to me.
Yeah. So it's called
Help me understand. She's not deaf because we can be able to communicate.
She can read your lips. She hears the tones, low tones, very muffled.
Yes.
If it was high tones, she couldn't hear it at all.
Oh.
I can't hear birds rustling trees, like anything that's high. If you know the piano and you're looking at it from middle C all the way up to the right, I can't hear it all. If middle C down low, I can pretty much hear. Like if you were going to a concert, you could hear the band, but I can't hear what the singer is singing.
But me, you can be able to hear me.
We're sitting pretty close together and you're a male.
Very interesting. Now, you talked about you play instruments?
Yeah, piano.
On the piano. So if in any case we had it here, you could have played it for us?
If you had a piano here?
Yes.
I could.
Tell me something about what you said, that she can be able to hear the low tones, but not high tones. So which means if we had a panel of female guests here, she would not be able to hear them.
No, she wouldn't be able to hear them because sound is vibration. And so lower tones vibrate at a different level, higher tones vibrate at a different level. As a matter of fact, when they test your hearing, they test it with tones. And that's how they figure out what tones you can hear and what tones you can't hear. So they know the range of tones that you can hear. She cannot hear high-pitched tones. Low tones, she can hear very muffled, but she can still hear. But she puts the meaning to it because if you watch her when I'm talking, you'll see that she's watching my mouth. So she's reading my lips and adding the tone. That's how she hears low tones. When we were just at Science TV, they signed. So the interpreter was a female, the interviewer was a female, but they were doing sign language. And fortunately, the Kenyan sign language comes from the French, and the U.S. sign language comes from the French. So a lot of it she could understand. It was like magic. I sat back and watched her communicate with the interviewer, and it was magic.
Wow.
Yeah.
So even in a case we had somebody who can be able to do the sign language, you're good. You can be able to.
Yeah, that's what I went to school for, and that's what I teach children back in America. I taught middle school, high school, and now I teach college.
In which state?
New Jersey.
Oh, you're in New Jersey. And how did you get to meet? Because the other day, in fact, you were crowned as Come Royal Kingdom of South Africa.
Yes.
And then how did you get the two of you meet and you're in Kenya?
So I do a lot of personal development. I do a lot of events back home, just like I did several events while I was here in Kenya. I've been doing events in Kenya since 2018 or 2019. And I was at an event in Kansas City in the United States, and she was one of the guests at the event. And so I got the chance to meet her through another individual. Her name is Dr. Brenda Wood, and she introduced me. I got a chance to know her, and I said, I'm going to Kenya. I'm going to be doing several events, and I feel like you would be great. So she came, and then I had been on Signs TV myself. Even though I'm not deaf, I do personal development, motivation, inspiration. So they had me on there, and I said, this will be the right person because she can do sign language and communicate. Now, what we didn't know is if ASL, American Sign Language, would be the same as Kenyan Sign Language. And we were pleasantly surprised that there's a few small differences, but she could communicate very effectively.
Wow. Christine, so how's been your experience here in Kenya?
Oh, it's been wonderful. I mean, back home, there's this like negative connotation of traveling abroad, and people are like, why are you going there? Why Africa? And now I can positively say, why Africa? Because of Kenya. The Kenyan people are absolutely wonderful. They're so welcoming, so kind, and your food here is amazing. I don't want to leave, really.
What have you been enjoying eating? Have you eaten ugali?
We went to the village of Ngundi, and I sponsored a couple children there for their education. We have traveled. We've done some speaking engagements at different schools. I think we've seen at least 1,000 children, at least. And then we've also done some vacation type stuff like the safari, which was fun.
Wow. So you've been together all through, doing the same project, or maybe probably she's doing her own and you're doing, and then at some point you meet?
So I brought about 25 people. Yeah, and most of them went back on Monday the 20th when I flew to Zimbabwe.
Okay.
But
also, you're a bigger team.
Yes.
25 of you.
Yes.
Okay.
So left, there's about 8 of us left. And so we're going to Kitale twice. We're doing an event there. Then we're going back at the university today and tomorrow. And the next day, we're doing an event with Bishop Daniel Kwesi at his church, teaching leadership and principles. Yeah. So some of the time, she got here a few days before, maybe 2 days before me, and they went to the village. I didn't go because I was planning my events and just receiving the rest of my guests. And now that they're all gone, we've been together. And while they were over at the church today, we went to Science TV, and now we're here with you.
So tell me a little bit, did you manage to go to Kisii?
I've been to Kisii before. We haven't been on this trip.
Oh, before you'd gone to Nyamira County or Kisii County?
Yes.
You went to both counties?
I don't know if it was Nyamira County. I've been to...
Do you remember the name of the place where you went?
In Kisii? Where'd we go?
Kisii Town.
Kisii Town.
You went to Kisii Town.
Yeah.
Did you have any project, maybe anything that maybe from the humanitarian, because I can see you doing a lot of humanitarian.
So
anything that you probably did in Kisii?
What
or you're planning to do in Kisii?
What we did in Kisii is I'm the special envoy for I Change Nations. We're the largest culture of honor in the world.
Yes.
So we look for people who are doing great work, and then we position ourselves to honor them. We've honored over 35 presidents, vice presidents, prime ministers. We're in 155 countries, and that's exactly what I was doing in Zimbabwe. We honored the First Lady, the current First Lady. We honored the former president of Mauritius. We honored the CEO of the Nelson Mandela Lead Like Mandela Foundation. They flew in from South Africa. And quite a number of other dignitaries we honored. In Kisii, we did the same thing. I remember honoring Commander Cooley.
2020, around there?
Yeah. And we had some great individuals that we honored that are doing great work. We believe that what gets praised gets practiced. So if you or I did something wrong, we wouldn't have to tell anyone to put it on TV or put it on the news or put it on the internet. They would do it without us asking us. And even if we asked them to take it down, they wouldn't do it. They'd keep it up. They'd keep talking about it. But you can do great work. I can do great work. Kristy could do great work, and nobody could even say anything about it. So what we decided to do was identify those individuals that are doing great work and make sure that we highlight the work that they're doing so that other people can see that people doing great work get talked about and get honored as well.
How do you manage to do those events? Because organizing such events, you need money. How do you raise money just to do such kind of events? Like now traveling to Zimbabwe, inviting people to come to attend an event, and then of course honoring them and such. It calls for money. How do you raise money?
I don't know how they paid. They just paid for me to come. They knew the work that we've done. They wanted to honor the First Lady.
So it's not you, it's them. We invite you.
Sometimes it's both, but in this case, they knew I was going to be in Kenya, and it was going to be cheaper to fly me from the U.S. from Kenya to Zimbabwe than from the U.S. So they said, while you're in Kenya, can you carve out some days to come to Zimbabwe? And it was hard because we had a full program here in Kenya, but I was able to manage to do that.
I know you've interacted with presidents, traditional leaders, diplomats, business executives and such. Now, probably you can be able to tell me what differentiates great leaders from the average leaders.
Their character. Remember I told you about like-minded and like-hearted. What I realize is we don't need more politicians in leadership. We need more leaders in politics. And even as Kristy was talking about, and she's talking about the deaf community, a lot of leaders, good leaders, are inclusive. I witnessed a unique phenomenon when I was here in Kenya in 2021. I wrote a book called Campaign Civility, How to Win the Hearts of the People to Win the Election.
You wrote that book?
Yes, I wrote that book.
Where is that? Where is it? You have it somewhere.
I may have one in my bag somewhere. I think I do. But
So you wrote that from your experiences or perspectives here in Kenya?
Yeah, and just around the world. But listen, let me tell you what I noticed. This was unique. I was in Kenya in 2018 and 2019 and 20 and 2021, and you were Kenyan and he was Kenyan and they were Kenyan and we're all Kenyan. And then when it became election time, they became tribesmen. Right? They weren't saying we're Kenyan, we're Kissi tribe, we're Kamba, we're this, we're that. And that was used to kind of divide people. And I just believe that everyone has a value, and great leaders don't divide, they unite. Now, I know it's a political strategy, you know, and you have to use what works. The problem is if you create a divide too wide, then when you go into office, even if it's governor, even if it's local politician, you have trouble bringing the people back together again. And so I just believe that good leaders are uniters. They bring people together in a common cause, in a united voice. They have a slogan that includes everyone. I remember Barack Obama, his slogan was, "Yes, we can." It was a strategic slogan because it was wide enough for everybody that everybody could say, "Yes, we can." But when I say it, it might mean something different than when you say it. When I say, "Yes, we can," I'm saying better schools and better roads. And when you say, "Yes, we can," you might be saying better healthcare and better jobs. But everybody could just yell, "Yes, we can." It was a strategy to unite people. Donald Trump, his slogan was "Make America Great Again." Well, that means something different to everyone. And when you say it, you're saying whatever you mean. If I said it, I would be saying what I meant. So the real goal, I believe, in true leaders, not politicians, but true leaders, is to bring people together so that we can unite in a common cause.
Great. Christian, maybe probably I want you just to help us understand this. Most young people, they really struggle to discover their purpose in life. And probably, what will you advise someone who is really searching for meaning of life? Mostly the young people, what will you be able to tell them?
I tell the young people that are searching for their meaning of life.
Yes.
They need to get out and have different experiences. They can't just think that the one thing that's on their mind is the thing. I mean, it could be, very well could be, but the young try to go too fast with everything. They want to get done school 2 years sooner. They want to do this faster, and they don't really have the real world experience that they might need to find their actual purpose. Now, I'm not telling them to give up whatever it is that they're thinking, of course, go on full speed ahead, but it might be their experience that they need to find something even bigger.
So tell me a little bit something about, you told me you were doing very fine and then all of a sudden you're not able to hear very well, and then you were even forced to change your career. You were not really into the deaf and such.
No.
But because of what happened in life, you had to accept and then definitely change the course of life. Talk about somebody who's probably outside there. In our country, we have one of the biggest challenges. You go to school, you study, but you're not able to find something to do. So you're forced to do something totally different from what you studied.
Yeah.
You probably can be able to talk to us. How do you adapt? If in any case, I did engineering and I have not got anything to do, because even you along the way you had to change, and then you had to adapt to a new system.
Yeah. So I got my degree in psychology. I was a psych nurse for 15 years. I owned a preschool. I've tried a lot of different things that didn't work for me. But people that, like, when I lived in the women's shelter, there was a lot of woe is me there, where everybody's crying about all the things that happened to them. I looked at it a little bit differently. Like, I had my 3 children and I had to look them in the face every day. There was days that I couldn't eat because I had to feed them the last of what was in my house. I knew I had to make a change because I knew that they needed me. There was nobody else there for them. So I was kind of like forced into making a change, and I made this shift into the deaf community because the first day that I had my deaf culture class, my teacher told me the story of a man named Laurent Claire, and he is the one who brought sign language to us from France. So I don't know what the actual history is with Kenyan sign in France, but he's the one that brought French Sign Language to us. And I realized something that day. Like, if this man can get on this boat with another man, Thomas Gallaudet, who he doesn't know, who knows a language that he doesn't know, English, and go across the sea, the Atlantic Ocean, to teach one little girl, Alice Cogswell, that he doesn't know how to sign because nobody knew how to teach deaf children in America. And they created the Spark for Deaf Education. And I was like, if this little girl can learn this language at the age of 9, never having language before, there's absolutely zero reason why I can't too. And I didn't want to do something small. So I created my theater because I wanted to find a way to stay connected to the performing arts, even though I thought I had to drop it down, right, after I lost my hearing being a pianist. And through my theater company, I've taught well over, at least 2,500 kids through my theater company. And some of the kids grow up through my company and become interpreters and teachers of the deaf. So they're changing their stars just because they crossed my path. Who am I to take this beautiful language that Laurent Claire brought here 200 years ago and to stop it with me? No, I have to push it out into the world. So I changed my stars, 1, because I had to, and 2, because I fell in love with something.
Tell me about the theater that you were talking about. It's based in which state?
New Jersey.
So is it still operational right now?
Absolutely. It's a 501c3 nonprofit. We've been in business. This is our 10th year. Our mission is to encourage the deaf to learn more about the performing arts and to encourage the hearing to learn ASL and interact with deaf peers. Our vision is to create performances for the deaf and the hearing to enjoy as one. And where this came about is for every year on my daughter's birthday, we would go to see a Broadway show. So this particular year, I'm watching The Interpreter sitting in the corner in the dark. And I'm looking at this guy sitting next to me, and he's got his eyes up on the stage. He's smiling. And I'm like, he paid the same amount of money that I did to sit in this seat. And his eyes get to be up on stage, and I have to look in the corner in the dark, somebody wearing all black who obviously doesn't look like she wants to be there that day. And it's like, a Broadway interpreter gets paid $750 an hour. Like, give me something, right? So if you look at that from the disabilities perspective, it's like, that's accessibility. Maybe, yeah, okay. Equality, absolutely not. So I wanted to create a theater where all eyes get to be up on the stage, because theater should be accessible to everyone.
In Africa, I know US and Africa, probably our cultures are not the same, but I've always heard you talk about your children, a little bit of struggles with your children, but you're not talking anything about your husband.
About what?
Your husband.
My husband?
Yes.
Don't have one. I have to do it all on my own.
Okay. Interesting. Dr. Ruben may probably even...
No, I don't have one either. No, I'm just messing with you.
You don't have children?
No, I don't have a husband. I'm just messing with you.
You don't have a husband?
Yeah, I don't have one either.
Do you have a wife?
I do have a wife, yeah.
Tell me something about your wife.
Yeah, my wife, Robin, she's an event planner. It's a match made in heaven because I do events and she plans events. So when I was here in Kenya, she planned the event at the Trademark. She planned the event at the Westin Hotel. And then my son, Robinson, is 14. He spoke at the event. He started speaking here in Kenya when he was 7. His first time on stage internationally was right here in Kenya. And so I have a love for Kenya. I have a love for the people. I always say that I'm Kenyan, not because I was born in Kenya, but because Kenya was born in me. Just interacting with the people, interacting with the tribes, interacting with the culture. It lit a fire in me. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about Kenya. Why are you having a soft spot with Kenya? Because you talk about African countries, but it's like you're more into Kenya than any of the African countries.
Everybody talks about great countries. And I think that's a misnomer. I really don't believe in great countries. I believe in great people that make the country great. So it doesn't matter how great your country is. It doesn't matter how big the buildings are and how good the roads are and all that stuff. If the people aren't good, then when you go visit it, you don't have a good experience. Now, by the same token, it doesn't matter if there's a little struggle, and it doesn't matter if their highways are congested, and it doesn't matter if there's a goat crossing the road every now and then. If the people are great, you have a great time, and you go back with a great experience. I've gotten a chance to interact and connect with some great individuals in Kenya who have inspired me and empowered me to invite other people back. I hope one day to get my Kenyan citizenship, so I'm dual citizen. So I'm not inviting people to Kenya, I'm inviting people to my other country. And so I'm working towards that. And then I want to be the catalyst for people to come and see the beauty of Kenya. I believe open doors, open minds. And so for them to come see for themselves what it's like, to experience the people for themselves, to see the Maasai tribe, to go on safari, to eat the cuisine. I think it's life-changing. And that's been the sentiment of the people that I brought.
Leadership comes with a lot of criticism. There is a lot of pressure. Sometimes people can be able to oppose what you're doing. They may not be able to understand. How have you handled that?
Let me tell you something real quick. You guys don't know, but I'm from Topeka, Kansas. And Topeka, Kansas was Indian territory, American Indian. So all of our counties are named after Indian tribes. We have Osawatomie County, Potawatomi County, Shawnee County. Those are all Indian tribes. So to celebrate their heritage, they put an Indian on the top of the Capitol building with a bow and arrow pointed toward the sky. Took a lot of money to put that Indian on the top of the Capitol building with a bow and arrow pointed toward the sky. And some people said, man, that's amazing. They're really honoring our history. They're really honoring our heritage. They put an Indian on the top of the Capitol building with a bow and arrow pointed toward the sky. And then other people said, can you believe they wasted all that money to put an Indian on the top of a Capitol building with a bow and arrow pointed toward the sky? We need roads. We need better schools. We need more books. Why would they take the money to put an Indian on top of the Capitol building with a bow and arrow pointed toward the sky? It taught me something, Erastus. You know what it taught me? When you become the top, you become the topic, and you also become the target. It doesn't matter what you do. Some people are going to say it's great. Some people are going to say it's terrible. Some people are self-centered. Some people will say it's for the people. That's why it has to come from within. You have to know that you're doing the right thing. And then a lot of times people who are doing great work are not celebrated in their day. Now we celebrate Muhammad Ali. They have Martin Luther King Day. They weren't celebrated during their day. Muhammad Ali wasn't celebrated when he was the heavyweight champion of the world. He was stripped of his title because he didn't want to go to war. He was a conscientious objector. Dr. King, they killed him. They said he caused turmoil and stirred confusion. Same with Malcolm X. Now, when we look back, history tells a different story. So if you're going to be a leader and you're going to be a great leader, you have to lead with your heart and with integrity, and you have to take whatever they bring at the time. But I believe that history will tell the real story, because life has to be lived forward and understood backwards. And it's only when we can look back on the impact that these people made that we say, oh, no, Muhammad Ali was a great guy. Dr. King was a great guy.
In fact, when you mention about that, Dr. Ruben, I know you've received a lot of international awards.
Yes.
Which one, probably, among all the recognitions you've received, speaks a lot and may probably so special to you, and why?
Yeah. So, I do a lot of projects. I like making an impact. I like bringing people to make an impact. I like empowering people. And so the one award that I just really am inspired by is the Kenya National Heroes Award. And President Ruto put it on my neck himself. And the reason I loved it is because it let me see that somebody took notice of the fact that I'm working hard to make a difference. I'm working hard to open doors. I'm working hard to make connections. I'm working hard to build bridges over gaps. And that really meant a lot to me. And I remember going to the ceremony where we were going to be receiving the National Heroes Award. And I think it was Kwale. Was that what you called? Yeah, okay. I was there at the stadium. Okay. And they had the military marching and they had the helicopters fly over. And then they said something in Swahili that I didn't understand. And I'm just standing there looking bright-eyed. And shoo, the jets flew over, and it scared the devil out of me. I mean, it scared me to death. And I was the only one that jumped. You know why? Because everybody else understood Swahili, and they knew that they said the jets were about to fly over. And I was the only one that didn't understand, and I'm standing out there looking. And so it scared me. I mean, my heart almost stopped. And people grabbed me, I almost fell down because it shocked me. And they said, what's wrong with you? Like, you heard them say that they were going to fly over. I said, well, I don't speak Swahili, so if that's what they said, I didn't know. But that experience, being there and watching the military and watching the people and seeing the president drive around in the vehicle and wave to the people, it really inspired me. Mm-hmm. every award I get is just fuel to the fire. I always say, I got to do more. I got to make a greater impact. And that's why I brought this trip great people like Kristy, who's here to make the connection with the deaf community.
Kristen, tell me, are you looking forward to do something here in Kenya with the deaf community?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. Tell me about it.
We don't know what that is yet. It's all up in the air, but one of the people that we're with, Pastor Chris, he's wonderful. He does a lot of work with children, and he wants to connect his kids with my kids over in America, and we started this video project where it's a song that he wrote, he sang, and my students are signing it for him, and then he's getting his students to learn from mine. So to be able to build that bridge across the ocean is pretty cool.
What is the title of the song?
It's Go, Go, Go is, I think, the name of the song.
Kenyan song or Swahili?
It's not in Swahili, no, but he is Kenyan.
English?
It's in English,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you sing?
I used to. Honestly don't know what I sound like anymore, so I'm not sure if it would be any good.
Okay. Oh, great. You've just come to Kenya because I understand that among the many things that you've been doing around is just to foster peace.
Yes.
And we're heading to elections next year. Probably, what practical steps can families or communities do so that we can be able to build a lasting peace amongst us as we look into elections?
Yeah. So I think peace is a misnomer because we think that peace is the absence of violence, and it's really not. Peace is a state of mind. There's times where you see UN peacekeeping forces come in with their guns saying, keep the peace. Well, if you have to use guns, then that's not peace. There's people that are in abusive households, and just because there was no abuse that day doesn't mean there was peace. It just means there wasn't abuse. Here's what I've learned is that peace is a destination. Civility is the transportation to get to the destination. So to me, the way we keep peace, well, it has to be created before it's kept, and it's created through civility. It's the civil treatment of one another. It's acknowledging that everyone has a contribution, that we all benefit from people we don't know. You just gave me water out of this cup. I don't know where the water came from, and I don't know who made the cup, but I'm still drinking it. We're talking on these microphones. We don't know who made these mics. We don't know who made these chairs. See, there's people that contribute to our lives that we don't even recognize. We don't take the time to stop and recognize. But when you realize that everyone has a contribution, and usually the reason people beget violence, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said a riot is the language of the unheard. That they've been saying the same things over and over again, and because they can't get attention and people won't listen, they have to try something different. And so they try rioting. I believe that including people in the election, including all the tribes and talking about the value that they all bring, at the same time, working to get solutions. A lot of the youth are upset because they don't have the jobs. And so they want to riot. They want to do these things. But that's not the way to get jobs. Why? Because if I'm outside of the country and I'm looking to open a factory here or bring some business or industry here and I see violence, I'm not coming. I've got to wait a couple of years to make sure everything's cooled down because I'm not going to risk my life to bring this. So I believe civility is the way. And when I was here before, I started an organization called Campaign Civility. I got a chance to train some of the police, some of the military. I got a chance to share my book in English and Swahili, Campaign Civility. I believe that civility is the answer and the vehicle to get us to the peace that we need to have a peaceful election.
Great. We want just to wind up our discussion, but we normally do two things before we are done. Are you able to read this?
What?
Are you able to read here?
Can I read that?
Yes.
In American, I would say ATATO, like potato, but it's not.
ATATO?
ATATO?
Great. That is
ATATO.
That one means 3 important things that you've learned in life. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell us 3 things that probably have inspired you or maybe you've learned in the course of what you're doing. 3 means ATATO. ATATO means 3. This is in my language, this is Kisi language. And then there is something else. If you can look at the cup.
That's your name.
It's written ATATO. No. This, my name. The second one is my name.
Yeah.
And then there is Ekioge Kegoteri. That means iron sharpens iron.
Indeed.
From the book of Proverbs.
Yes, indeed.
That one brings us to another challenge. What is this?
Bible trivia.
Bible
trivia
trivia.
question. So I'm going to ask you a question, and if you get the answer, you win.
Okay, good.
If you don't get the answer, you give me money.
Okay.
We want to start with Christine. Are you ready?
No, but
New
okay.
New Testament or Old Testament? Let's just do the New Testament. Do you know Judas Iscariot? Jesus had 12 disciples, and then
Yes.
there's one called
Yes.
Judas Iscariot.
Yes.
When he died, who replaced? It's not yours. It's Christine. Because we need to give her an award. You know, you deal with awards. You deal with the recognition. So I want also to recognize you and I give you some award. So when Judas Iscariot stepped out, so when he died, who replaced Judas Iscariot?
You said Judas?
Yes.
Okay.
Iscariot,
Now
yes.
say it again.
Jesus had 12 disciples.
Correct.
And then one among the 12 betrayed Jesus, and then he killed himself. So who replaced him?
Me. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I really don't know. I have no idea. I've never studied the Bible. I am a Christian, but I haven't studied the Bible. I'm so sorry.
Dr. Ruben, do you want to help her?
No, you said that was her question, so
So I'll have
you
to ask you
answer
the
that,
question.
and I want my own question.
All right, it's all right. So you have to give me some cash now that
No.
you did. It's called Matthias. It's in the book of Acts,
Yes.
chapter 1,
Okay.
towards the end. It's called Matthias.
Yes.
There were
Matthias?
two of them, and then Matthias is the one who replaced.
Matthias.
Yes.
Okay.
Great. Do we go to the New Testament or Old Testament?
Let's stick with the new, I guess.
The New Testament.
Yeah.
Now, there is one time Paul was preaching, and then it was heading to the middle of the night, and there was a young man who was seated there, and he became asleep, and he fell down. We find this in the book of Acts. The young man fell down and he died. Paul went down. He prayed for the young man, and then he got up. He resurrected,
Yeah.
and then he came back and he continued. So tell me, what is the name of this young man?
I have no idea.
You need to give me a lot of cash.
Yeah.
It's called Eutychus.
Eutychus?
Yeah, I think I
It's in
did
the
know
book
that.
of Acts.
Acts.
Yes.
I think I did know that, but
Great. Thank you. Don't worry.
but I couldn't.
Now, I want you to tell me three things that you've learned. Let me start with Christine.
Sure.
Three things that probably have inspired you in life, or maybe you've picked a few lessons in life, even as we wind up. Three things.
Never give up because you never know what's ahead of you. Don't turn around because you could be this close to what it is you either wish for, hope for, or something that you could do to help humanity. So just don't give up. The future is in our children. So ensure that you be a great parent. It's something that I've struggled with in the past when I was depressed. And my children have absolutely changed my world and saved my life. So be a good parent would be number 2. Be a good person in general, because you never know where someone is in their journey of their life. They could be right at the edge of jumping off a bridge and you don't know. You could have been that person that saved them that day.
Wow. Thank you so much. Wow. We were to clap. We could have clapped. I wish we had an audience here. Oh, yeah. For the reason we do like this. Great. Dr. Ruben, three things that ATATO now, you said ATATO. Yes, that is it. Now it's time for ATATO from Dr. Ruben.
Number one, every single person has value. It doesn't matter who they are, where they're from, male, female. Every single person has value, and it's our job to help them bring that value out. So there's societies that doesn't educate girls. That's a mistake because they have value. So we have to be the catalyst to help them bring that value to the table. So that's number one. Everyone has value. Number two, what looks like the end of the road is really just a bend in the road if you're willing to make the turn. She was going through her life. She was hearing, piano teacher, teaching music, and she loses her hearing. It looks like the end of the road. What she discovered, it was really just a bend in the road because she was willing to make the turn. I'm going to learn sign language. I'm going to keep teaching. I'm going to go into theater. I'm going to do all these things. And a lot of people, they see the bend as a stop sign and it's really just an opportunity to go a new direction. Number three, a lot of times in life we're stuck. And it's not that you're doing anything wrong, but you could be doing the right thing too long. Life is in seasons. Her season for the music and the piano was over. It's time for a new season. My season as a World Civility Ambassador, focusing on that I still can do it, but now I've been appointed a king. I have a new season. So it's not that you're doing anything wrong, but you can be doing the right thing too long. Look for the change and the transformation. No caterpillar wants to live their whole life as a caterpillar. They want to transform into the butterfly.
Wow. Thank you so much. We have just to finish at this point. It's quite inspiring having Christine Weldon and Dr. Ruben. In fact, you're a professor, so you should be able to address Professor.
Exactly.
Christine Weldon and Dr. Ruben. And I really want just to say thank you so much. I want to teach you some little bit of Kisi.
Yes, let's have it.
Biore.
Biore.
Biore means how are you?
Biore.
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 Yes.
Okay.
And then you need to respond. When you want to respond, you say biamono.
Biamano.
Yes. Biamono which means I'm okay, I'm fine.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Biore, Christine?
Biore.
No, you're supposed to say biamono.
Biamano.
But I didn't hear that one because you looked at him. Bio what?
Oh, I have to look at you.
Yeah, she's reading your lips.
Oh, great. Biore.
Biore.
That one means how are you?
Okay.
And then when you're responding, you say I'm doing fine. Now in my language, you say biamono.
Biamon.
Yeah, biamono. Biamono.
Biamono.
Biamono.
Biamono.
Yes. Biore.
Biamono.
Nakiogateba, how are you doing? Nakiogateba, how are you doing? And then if you want to tell me I'm doing fine, and then in my language you say mbuyande.
Biande.
Nakiogateba.
Biande.
Nakiogateba.
Biande.
I can teach you a song in Kisi. We used to have this song we were singing when we were young, small children. Engoko ya buga kwe kwe kwe. Ingi ego teba. Now I want to teach you that song. So your work will be between engoko ya buga. You'll say kwe kwe kwe.
Okay.
So that song is saying that the chicken, the way the chicken communicates to the chicks, that there is an enemy who is coming, and then those who do not listen, definitely they'll be far away. And what will happen when I can't even remember mwewa anaitwa in English, I can't remember. Eagle. Yeah, when the eagle comes, and then it will be able to pick the smaller chicks. So the song we were trained as young children just to learn obedience. Engoko ya buga kwe kwe kwe.
So in my language, this is eagle.
Yes.
And
yes.
this is chicken.
Yes. Oh, in your language, great, in the sign language. Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe probably you can do something using the sign language, even as we wind up. You can tell people, thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and we are so glad to have you. By the way, my daughter she does sign language.
Your daughter does?
Kenya, yes, she does Kenya sign language.
Okay.
So you can be able to wind up the show by telling people, thank you so much for watching and for subscribing to this channel, ATATO. It's called ATATO. You can do it now in sign language. Now I'm not going to say anything.
I don't know the sign for subscribe.
You can try.
You mean like for YouTube?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We go.
So thank you for watching and subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Thank you so much. Auna toko chikokolera. Ndochira nkwata manta marabuga iga. Togenda toko kina tatu na Sorobi Moturi Erastus. So make sure nga wa subscribe. Ndata kati ama ndinge ndinge munya gusuka tuli munya buita tole ngora. Tuage tinge njirege ngora. Subscribe to ikange mambiene ko chakote bali ngwa manye to monto likia to kumanya ngakia ngiyo monte yakoba ono to chikolo muro lwe tikolia lero leta ngo Sorobi Moturi Erastus
Kwe.
kwe
Ekioge. Yetieri ekende. Ekioge go tieria ekioge kende.